Hi guys, Peter from Smarter Tenant. Welcome to another Smarter Saturday. I often get asked what makes a smarter tenant, and it's pretty straightforward. A tenant is someone that obviously rents, but also owns multiple investment properties, which makes them a smarter tenant, obviously. It also makes them a rent investor. And a rent investor is obviously a term that's been getting a lot of traction these days. Rent where you want to live, invest where you can afford. The reality at the moment is the Sydney marketplace obviously has increased in value. People are struggling from a servicing perspective, and also investors are struggling to find the right yields, which is why most people are looking further afield in respect to marketplaces such as Brisbane, Melbourne, to really sort of diversify their portfolio. I deal with a lot of, obviously I'm a proud New South Welshman, as most people know. And a lot of the investors that I deal with have lived in New South Wales for all their lives. So they struggle to sort of think outside the square. The majority of people, I suppose in life, act on autopilot. They sort of do what they know. They do what is easy. So therefore anything outside the realms of what they know or what they trust, they find it difficult to think outside the square. The reality is that when we're dealing with, I suppose, property and we're dealing with portfolios, we have to think outside the square. It's a massive marketplace out there. Australia doesn't just revolve around Sydney, although, you know, Sydney is a global city, but so is Melbourne. And Brisbane, you know, once they upgrade the airports, if you think of Brisbane from a geographical standpoint, the close proximity to Asia, that's obviously going to go from strength to strength. And as it sort of converts itself into a 24-hour airport, there'll only be a matter of years before it starts getting the same numbers as Melbourne, for example. So they're really the things that you've got to take into consideration, especially the amount of infrastructure projects that are going on at the moment within North Brisbane. The university, for example, the new university of the Sunshine Coast that's being built at the moment in the Petrie marketplace, which is near North Lakes there, close to the massive Westfields, which is also getting a $150 million upgrade. I've got to be careful when I say the word Westfields. Mariana, my partner, is just not close by, so I don't want to say that out aloud because I'll probably end up there this weekend, which is the last thing I want to do. Now, besides all of that, when we're analysing marketplaces and as an investor, we're not looking for the short term. We're looking for the long term. And when you're investing, you really want to invest for the long period. So we're talking sort of 15, 20 years. So Smarter Tenant, as a research advisory firm, we're analysing marketplaces over the next sort of 15, 20 years. So what we do is that we look at the compounding growth rate. So going back to my earlier comment, when people sort of struggle thinking about, you know, Brisbane as an opportunity or even Melbourne, probably not as much as the people that live in New South Wales. I think it's sort of acceptable to sort of consider Melbourne as an opportunity, but we can't forget about Brisbane because they are our three main cities, Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne. So I've recently done some research taking into consideration the last sort of 20 years, the compounding growth rate, and CoreLogic have brought out a really great report. Now I'll just quickly read it to you. So Harrington Park is New South Wales' best performer, which is quite a surprise. And the median price is $949,000. 12 months it's grown by 9.4%. Over 3 years it's grown by 39.7%. In the last 5 years it's 72.7%. And over a 20 years, so in the last 20 years, the compounded growth rate is 12.4%. Now, that's New South Wales' best performer. Now, when we take into consideration Queensland, New Farm is the best performer at 1.7 million, which is the median price range. It's, in the last 12 months, it's grown by 7.1%. Over 3 years, it's 3.17%. 5 years at 68.2, and over 10 years, it's grown, compounded growth rate, 10.6%. So the reality is that we're only talking a couple of percentage points in regards to capital growth. And when you're investing for the long term, there really isn't much of a difference between the two states, Brisbane and of course Sydney. We forget about the time, especially around sort of 2008, when we had the GFC, when we had the crisis. I mean, I was in traditional real estate back then, and I remember selling properties where people were purchasing properties, especially around like the ponds and those type of marketplaces where they're buying them for 700,000 and we were selling them for 500,000. So a lot of people had negative equity, and the marketplace was moving backwards, not sideways, not upwards, it was moving backwards. We tend to only think about what's happened in the last sort of 3 to 4 years. But over the last 20 years, there has been negative equity and there has been negative growth within the Sydney marketplace. Not Sydney in general, but certain sort of suburbs. So when you analyse it over 20 years, there really isn't much of a difference in regards to our three sort of major states. We're here for the long term. There are marketplaces that you do want to stay away from in Brisbane. There are marketplaces you want to stay away from Melbourne, and equally with New South Wales as well. You just need a trusted advisor to give you the right information, the right research to help you make an educated decision. Now, we will be chatting about that in a lot more detail next week. Next Tuesday, we've got our first Wollongong event, which is going to be in the North Wollongong Hotel. Great hotel. We've got the top floor, the function area. There's going to be a great drop-down screen. There's going to be some great food as well. I think we're having sliders there, so I'm looking forward to that. And the Bella Vista Hotel, which is a near and dear hotel to me. Spent many years there in the last since it's opened actually. Great establishment, great food. They're going to be putting on some wood-fired pizzas for us and bringing them straight into the boardroom there, which is what we got. So definitely looking forward to that. So if you live close by to any of those locations, make sure you jump onto the website, so smartertenant.com.au/income. For the people that are watching this video, we will be giving away tickets for free. Just make sure you punch in the promo code BOOM. It's an easy one to remember, marketplace about to boom. And we hope to see you there. We look forward to catching up with all of you guys. If you have listened to the video and you have bought the tickets and used the promo code, make sure you let us know, because we'll be giving away a free eBay gift card voucher. So have a great day, enjoy the weekend, and have a great day. Thanks guys, ta, bye.